welcome to Supreme Success Online Lectures. I'm Abdurrahman by name. I will be taking you through government. And our topic of discussion for today is indirect rule system. Of course, in our previous class, we examined colonialism, and today we'll be looking into indirect rule system, which is also part of colonialism. So, to the meaning, what is indirect rule system? Indirect rule system is a system whereby the colonial masters ruled Nigerians, Africans, and all other third world countries indirectly. That is, they rule them through their traditional rulers, or let's say through the local authorities. So according to Frederick Law Lugard, it defined indirect rule system himself as what? Child of necessity. Child of necessity. That's what he sees indirect rule system to be. And what makes him to conclude that indirect rule system was child of necessity? It was because of the following reasons. That is, reasons for the adoption of indirect rule system. Among the reasons for the adoption of indirect rule system were: 1. Shortage of personnel. We have insufficient fund. Also, we have need to preserve local authorities. Number 4, so we have its success in other countries. Success of the system in other countries. And which other one? Okay, these are the reasons that was behind the adoption of indirect rule system in order to what? To rule Africa. Also, another one I think we should add is what? The failure or experience of policy of assimilation. Now let's take them one after the other and let's explain the reasons why indirect rule system was introduced by the military ruler. First, we said shortage of personnel. Yes, Africa was seen as a graveyard to the white men. Why? Because of the mosquitoes that were veritably available in Africa. So many of them were scared of coming down here because they believe that it's their graveyard. When they get here, they can't survive, considering the climate, the mosquito, and all other things that will not conform with their own personal nature or what they express over there. So as a result, there was shortage of the white men to panel the affairs of the society. So if they had decided to apply direct rule, there would have been shortage of personnel to man the affairs of the society. Hence, they resulted to indirect rule system. Another factor that constituted indirect rule system was insufficient funds. Unlike France, that adopted policy of assimilation, British were not willing to spend it in Nigeria because what? They want to preserve their money. They feel they shouldn't just waste their resources on what they don't know the outcome. So instead of bringing their people and spending money to finance the affairs of the society, they rather rule indirectly by using the available local authorities to rule over the people. So therefore, as a result of insufficient funds, they apply indirect rule system. Another factor we need to consider is what? Need to preserve local authority. So another thing they thought of was that okay, because if they should apply direct rule system, they will be interrupting or disrupting the practice, the local authorities, because they may need to remove those authorities, which may result in grievance from members of the society. So they thought of, instead of going against the local authorities or removing them from power so that they can impose themselves, in which will sensitize or will bring about chaos in the society, they rather preserve to maintain those authorities so as not to bring about issues among members of the society or not to cause disruption, unnecessary disruptions. So they prefer to maintain the local authorities and use them to execute their objectives instead of directly administering the affairs. They used the colonial masters. So another factor that resulted in what? In the employment of indirect rule system as a strategy to execute their objective was success of the system in other countries. Yes, prior to the application of the system in Nigeria, it has experienced the perfect success in countries like India and some other Asian countries like that. So as a result of the success of this system in other countries, even that was what led to Frederick Law naming the system as what? Child of necessity. Because what? It has firstly experienced success. So it was successful somewhere and it experienced the perfect success. So they thought that the best way they can apply, the best method they can apply to execute their objective is what? Is to introduce indirect rule system, whereby what? They use the local authorities to execute their objective. Another factor that led to the introduction of indirect rule system in Nigeria was the failure or the experience of policy of assimilation. Remember, as I've earlier said, policy of assimilation was introduced in French-speaking countries, Francophone countries. That is what? Countries that were colonized by France. And the meaning of policy of assimilation is whereby what? They will rule over the people and they will turn the people to their own citizens. So if we are applying policy of assimilation, it means what? All of us will be British. We won't be African again, or we may be African British. So instead of maintaining African or me staying in Nigeria, I would have what? I would have be an African British. That's the essence of what? Assimilation. So by implication, they will administer the society as if it is their own, as if we are their citizens. So that was what. But policy of assimilation failed totally in France. It experienced a total failure as what? As there were a lot of backloads against the system. So because the system experienced failure, British thought it worthwhile that instead of meeting such fate as policy of assimilation, rather they should introduce a policy of indirect rule system, whereby they can easily use the local authorities to achieve their objective. So now, having understand the concept of indirect rule system and the reasons for its adoption in Nigeria, we now look into the success or otherwise of the system in each of the regions in the country. So to start with, we'll look into what? The fate of indirect rule system, fate of the system in the northern part. In the northern part. To start with, indirect rule system experienced what we call a perfect success in the northern part of Nigeria. It was totally successful. As what? As the system on ground gave roots and gave ground to the indirect rule system. So it experienced a perfect success in the northern part for the following reasons. 1. Low level of education. Low level of education. 2. Religion. 3. Taxation. 4. Centralized system. So for these reasons, indirect rule system experienced a perfect success in the northern part of Nigeria. We'll explain them one after the other. Number 1 is what? Low level of education. Of course, we all know the northerners were not exposed. When we say education, we mean Western education. That is, they are not exposed to Western education. So most of them, or most of their citizens, do not really know the evil of colonialism. So they just feel like, oh, it's a means of improving their society. But in the real sense, these people have actually come to exploit their raw materials, in which majority of the citizens, let's say 90% of them, are not aware of the evil of colonialism. They were not aware of the plot of the colonial masters. So as a result, there were low level of education, low level of Western education for them to understand the evil of colonialism, so as for them to go against it. So for this reason, the system experienced a total success in the northern part. Another factor was what? Okay, in addition to this, I think I remember another one, there's what we call fear of domination. Yeah. That's another factor that ensured that the system experienced the perfect success in the northern part. So we have explained the level of education. We now look into religion. Of course, in the northern part, in the emirate system we already explained, or the caliphate system as the case may be, the dominant religion was Islam. And in Islam, the dominant religion was Islam. And in Islam, it is believed that what? That the caliph or the emir is God sent. So the caliph or the emir cannot go against, they can't go against the caliph or the emir, as the case may be. They believe even if the emir is doing something wrong, it's only God that can bring it to book. So by implication, there was total submission to their leaders. They never went against their leaders, because what? It was under the religious belief that they shouldn't go against their leaders. Only God can question or can bring to book the leaders that actually mismanage the affairs of the state. So by that belief, even when the colonial masters came and they began to introduce, when they were acting under the influence of the emir, the people could not go against because of their belief, as a result of what? Of their religious belief that they shouldn't go against their leader. So because of this, the system experienced the perfect success. So we are done with religion, done with this, and done with this what? Taxation. Now, prior to the coming of the whites in the northern region, taxation was already in existence. They have taxes as what? As cattle tax. They call it what? Jinkali. They call it. They have Jinkali tax. They have capitational tax. They have land tax. So these taxes were known to the northerners before the coming of the whites. So when they were probably improved or strategized in that way, it was not new to them. So they didn't see it as a threat or see it as something new to them. They just see it as a normal thing they had been doing even before the coming of the whites. So the taxation they introduced was just a normal thing that was in operation in the northern part before the coming of the whites. So it was not new to them, and so therefore they had no reason to go against it, because it was they were used to before. So that's another reason why the system experienced a perfect success in the northern part. Another thing is what? A centralized system. We have earlier said in our previous classes where we discussed pre-colonial administration, we said Hausa Fulani pre-colonial administration, which is based in the northern part, is a centralized system whereby power is concentrated in the hands of the emir. So all power was concentrated in the hands of emir, and all what the colonial master needs to rule over the society is for them to be able to convince the emir. The moment they can convince the emir, they have no problem, because all power. Although in the northern part, in the emirate system, there's no law-making power. It's only God that legislates, that makes law. And the law they applied was the Sharia law, made by Allah, according to them. However, execution of the law, adjudication of the law is in the hands of the emir. The emir adjudicate and execute the law. So all other things that can be done by human was in the hands of the emir. So the power was centralized in his hands, which makes it so convenient for the colonial masters to come by. So when they came, what did they do? They just convinced the emir. The moment they were able to convince the emir, they've convinced the whole emirate. Because the emir holds the power to the emirate. Hence, a centralized system that was available in the northern part makes the system to experience a perfect success. And another one, which will be the last one, for the reason why the system experienced a perfect success in the northern part, was fear of domination. Yes, of course, they were scared of being dominated by the whites. One of the methods we said that the whites employed when they were executing their objectives in Africa and Nigeria was what? When diplomacy fails, they introduce force. And Africa was not as sophisticated as the European countries then. So the fact that if they did not oblige to the yearnings, to the wants of these people, they might wage war against them, which might make them to go into oblivion. So as a result of fear of domination, or fear of of disrupting their society, they rather gave in to the yearnings, to the wants, and to the agitations of the colonial masters. Hence, for this mentioned reasons and explained reasons, I think we should and we could have been able to comprehend why the system experienced a perfect success in the northern part of Nigeria. Thank you. We'll continue from here in the next lecture.